Welcome to the La Cosa Nostra channel, and this is the first episode of my channel, which is a deep dive into an interesting story about Frank Costello, the Prime Minister of the Underworld. It is a tale not known and shrouded in lore also. But first, Francesco Costiglia, better known as Frank Costello, was born on 26 January 1891 to Luigi Costello and Maria Costello. He rose to power from 1900 to 1920, starting at an early age by using his fists and his get to gain power and money.
It wasn't long before Costello caught the eye of local mob bosses with his street smarts and knack for making money. Under the tutelage of mafia elders such as Salvatore Maranzano and Lucky Luciano, he began to climb the ranks of the criminal underworld. With prohibition in full swing, Costello seized the opportunity to expand his empire, establishing lucrative bootlegging operations and speakeasies across the city. His ability to navigate the treacherous waters of organized crime earned him a reputation as a shrewd and pragmatic operator. But it was during the tumultuous years of the Castellammarese War that Costello truly came into his own. As rival factions battled for control of the New York Mafia, he skillfully maneuvered between warring factions, earning the trust and respect of his peers. By the mid-1930s, Costello had emerged as one of the most powerful figures in the American Mafia, wielding influence over labor unions, politicians, and legitimate businesses alike. His suave demeanor and reputation for discretion earned him the nickname the Prime Minister of the Underworld. Now to cut to the topic being discussed in this video. This occurred in New York in the 1950s at the New York Athletic Club, a esteemed and widely known establishment where politicians and dignitaries attended evening lunches and participated in exercise. The building is located at 180 Central Park Street. Moving there in 1930, it was an establishment also frequented by Luciano crime family boss Frank Costello, and he was known to love steam rooms, so much so that once he went to Al Capone's home in Florida exclusively for the steam room present. It all began on a sunny morning in New York with a sharply dressed Costello in a sand-colored suit walking down 180 Central Park Street with his close associate Willie Moretti, who was the underboss of the Borgata Costello headed. Unassumingly, he entered the athletic club and tipped the doorman a cool $100, as was the norm for Frank. The doorman smiled and thanked the Don. The Mafia prides itself on ultimate discretion in operating in the shadows, and tipping the doorman $100 wasn't Mafia-like. Today was like any other day in Frank's mind, however. He noticed the manager, who was a friend, approaching with security. At first, Frank said in his famous raspy voice, "How is your day going, sir?" He received no reply, with the manager looking him up and down. Eventually, the manager stated, "The likes of you, Mr. Costello, are not welcome here."
Now you may be wondering, what had Mr. Costello did in his time was boss to become so infamous? One simple answer: the hearing in 1958, which were broadcasted on television. I will show the part where Costello landed himself in deep water.
Well, I don't know what you claim, what you mean by that.
Well, you're looking back over the years now to that time when you became a citizen. I mean, now standing 20-odd years after that. You must have in your mind some things you've done that you can speak of to your credit as an American citizen. If so, what are they?
Paid my tax.
New York Firemen's Association.
This for me is funny, as we know he didn't. He paid his taxes, as he earned a cool $28 million in the year 1928 along with the assassinated President John Kennedy's father. Now back to the story. As the manager stated his bold statement, bullets sprayed across the athletic club. Only kidding, guys. Uncle Frank acted like a true politician, an expert of diplomacy. He was different, and unlike his fellow associated, the likes of Albert Anastasia, who was a fellow Calabrian and would have reacted with a volley of bullets and whacked the members of staff present and the members of staff in the building next door. For me, this shows Uncle Frank deserved his nickname, which was the Prime Minister of the Underworld. Even the cool and collected Salvatore Luciano would have took action as shown for being taken and for fighting enforcement in 1916. Uncle Frank longed for acceptance from the upper class of the 1950s and wanted to be known as a businessman and not a bootlegger, an ex-gun for hire, and potential leader of the mafia's death squad. The next day, the manager got up, brushed his pearly white teeth, and got dressed in his finely pressed work suit and headed to the athletic club at 8 in the morning. He entered by opening the door by himself, not noticing the doorman Uncle Frank Tip was not at work. He carried on and greeted members of the athletic club who were dressed in their night clothes and stated, "Where are your suits and dresses?" They replied they were not pressed. The manager suddenly noticed there was not a single member of staff in the athletic club. As soon as he noticed, a worker and co-manager entered and said there is a strike going on right now. The manager in arrogance stated, "I will fix everything myself with or without your help." After a while, the members of the athletic club revoked their membership and left. In a panic, the manager phoned the Waldorf Astoria building, frantically asking for Mr. Frank Costello. The desk clerk connected to Uncle Frank's room, and in a raspy voice, my Costello said yes. The manager's voice at first was stern, and he said, "What did you do, Costello?" Mr. Frank then replied and said, "I have no idea. A strike is on, I hear, from my associates, and it is greatly affecting your athletic club, I hear. Is there any way I can be of assistance?" The manager burst into tears and stated, "I made a mistake. Mr. Costello, you can return and will be allowed free of charge if you stop the strike." Mr. Costello put down the phone, and by coincidence the strike was over and the workers returned. Hope you guys enjoyed this story, and like, comment, and subscribe. And I leave you with footage of Uncle Frank's funeral, so leave some respect to the boss in the comments below, and remember, a Don never wears shorts.